don't know if I told you or not, but I picked up this belt sander, and I also got several pieces of sandpaper, different grit, some for wood, some for metal, to actually take a little bit of grinding, but I still need to cut excess off. I mean, you can see here where I've run it across the belt sander and kind of rounded it right there, but I need to take more material off so I don't have to use so much sanding or whatever. But I did get that because that'll help me with the wood handles when I get them on, shaping them. I'd seen several reviews on this particular sander from belt sander from Harbor Freight in knife making, and there's a few little mods. Some of the guys didn't like this little platform here. One thing was because of the grooves. So they put I think one guy went to Lowe's or somewhere like that and bought some steel, made the cut and everything, and mounted it right to the top of this. One guy, I think he made just a whole new platform, but I'll see where it goes from here. I mean, I've got many uses for this, not just in knife making. I can use this for my leather craft, to sand down the edges, anything to do with wood. So I mean, there's multiple uses for this, not just for knife making. So I'm kind of glad I got this, just so I could have it. Hello everybody, I'm in here today working on these knives, one for me, one for Jerod. And of course, you just seen a little bit ago that I bought a Central Machinery 1" by 30" belt sander from Harbor Freight. Not a bad buy for, I think it was $52. And I bought extra belts, some, let's see what I got here. Sanding belts, 80 grit sanding belt, and 120 grit. Of course, reading these are they're aluminum oxide. They're for finishing wood, not metal. But while I was there, they also had 40 grit and 80 grit, and these are for wood, metal, fiberglass. So I got those. And then of course there's the factory belt, which I've been using, so I'll show you basically what I've done got ground out. There's my knife. Now I did take the Dremel with the cutoff wheel and cut off the excess. You know, okay, here's Jerod's, and you know, I was playing with the belt sander, and I just rounded off. I didn't cut off the excess. I just kind of rounded it off. But I'll take the Dremel and cut off the excess so it doesn't take as much grinding to get it down. And I'll have to cut the excess off here, and then grind it down. Here I've been just grinding it. I could probably be better if I did try to cut this out and this out here. But mine didn't turn out too bad just by grinding it with the belt sander. I've already drilled my holes for my pins. Still have to drill a hole for the lanyard pin, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to, you know, I've got solid brass material for a pin, but I don't have a hollow piece of brass. So I was thinking, since I reload, I have all kinds of brass. 30-06 casings, 223 casings, 357. You know, of course I got to have the right length, but I'm thinking about using that to make the pin for the lanyard. Of course, now the scales I'm going to be using are called Purple Heart. I'm hoping they're wide enough. They are long enough. Let me just get the one out of here. It's got tape residue all over it. But I'll have plenty, you know, here to make, you know, like I said, you're going to see the tape residue because I'll have to sand it. Right there. Now the thing is get the other one, get the tape off of it. I'm just hoping it'll be thick enough. And I guess they would be. I mean, there's how thick it's going to be. So, I mean, but this is my first attempt. I mean, my good friend sent me these scales to put on. Sent me the pin. He sent me the 1095 steel. So, you know, I'm going to use it. But I've got mine shaped and ready to put the bevel grind in. And I got to figure out how to do that. I'll have to darken this in and get the center line marked on it. But, you know, I guess I'll have to fix some sort of jig if I want to use the belt sander to put that bevel on. So I got to work on that and see how I'm going to do it. I was going to make a jig using a bastard file and an eye bolt and a stainless steel rod, some 2x4s where I just use a bastard file and start doing the bevel. But now that I went and purchased this, and I'm glad I got this because I can use this for more than just making a knife. I can use it for my leather projects, to you know, sand the edges whenever I get everything ready to start stitching up, or after it's stitched, to where everything's nice and flush. I can use it for little woodworking projects. But, you know, I need to make a jig that will allow me to start that bevel process. And I'm not going to take it to a edge, since I still have to heat treat this and then temper it. I'm going to take it to where I got a couple thousandths still of a flat spot here on the edge, and then I'll have to do the heat treating and then also the temper. But it fits good in the hand. I may put some grooves up here where my thumb will be. I made this to where, you know, you got the little hump right here, and you see the blade is going to, if I can get that to focus so you can see, you should be able to see that it goes down just a little bit. Okay, that's where can't remember what they call that. It'll be a straight line right there where my bevel will be. And I think it's going to turn out okay. The issue will be getting it heat treated. I mean, I know the process. I don't have a furnace. I've got a $10 Walmart charcoal grill. One of those kind that you just haul around in the trunk of your car or whatever. And I'll fill it up full of charcoal, lighter fluid, light it, and I will probably use my shop vac with the exhaust port and be able to blow air up through the bottom into the charcoal to heat treat this. And I know you heat it until it's non-magnetic, the magnet won't stick to it, and then immediately pull it out and quench it in, I've heard guys talking about using just vegetable oil. You know, have you a metal tank with about, I don't know, I think they said a gallon of vegetable oil. They say you should heat it up, so they talk about heating up another piece of metal just to put in that tank of vegetable oil to get it warm, and then pull this out of the fire when it won't take a magnet. You can put in just for a few seconds, pull it out, and quench it. The tempering won't be a problem. Got a toaster oven, 400 degrees for. Most everybody's videos I've watched says 400 degrees for 2 hours. I've seen some say 400 degrees for an hour, bring it out, let it air cool, put it back in for another 400 degrees for another hour. So I don't know which is the best. But I'm going to give it a try. And like I said, I've been working on mine. If I make any mistakes, I want it to be to mine. And if I learn from that, then I'm going to fix Jerod's. I don't want to really start doing a lot to Jerod's until I know I can do it with mine. But that's where we're at right now. You can see that spine is nice and straight. Come around right there at the back end of the knife. There's probably terms for all this. I don't know it. And then of course this is where your palm would fit. And then the finger guard right here to keep you from sliding up on the blade. So next thing now is to get a jig fixed to put it here and get the bevel started. So I'm going to go and see if I can find some stuff to make a jig for it. Okay, since I've got to bevel this, I need to darken in the edge with a Sharpie. So that's what I'm doing now, is darkening this edge with Sharpie. And then, now I could go take a drill bit that's the right thickness. Let me make sure this is calibrated right. Okay. Now what I'm doing, I know I've zoomed out too much. I got my calipers here now. These are not digital, these are analog. And I'm going to measure the thickness of this steel. And it's 0.1 0.1 It's 0.1. Five, 9. It was wrote on the steel. It was 5/32. So I'm just looking here. I'm going to take this in several different places. 0.158. 0.158. 0.158. So, find my pencil. I'm going to write on this 0.158, and I'll have to see. Can't do that in my head, so I'll take the old cell phone calculator. 0.158 divided by 2, 0.079. So 0.079. So let's see if I can get my calibers to 0.079. Lock it down. And then we'll do it this way. And if you look, I don't know if you can see it or not, that's the center of the blade. You can see it's shining right there, all the way to the tip. So I've got that marked now. Put the calipers back up. I have these. This is Franklin Arsenal. These are for my reloading, but they come in handy for this stuff and a lot of other things. Now, like I said, I've been trying to figure out how to make a jig, and I believe I have it figured out, but I got to be able to get my angles adjusted, so I got to figure that out. And get that clamped in somehow where I can take it across and do everything. And I think I need, that's where these guys I've watched on YouTube that have these, they have actually taken a piece of steel. Either they've replaced this altogether with a bigger top, Okay, you can see I started a bevel on it, like I do the other side. And my jig I made was just a piece of wood that I fixed to 20 degrees. And that seems to be doing a good job. So I'm going to clamp it on. I may have to find something better to make a jig out of, but this is working. Make sure that lays flat, and then clamp the knife down. And I'll have to redo this. And it should work. There's that one. There's that one. And I've left, I don't know if you can see it or not, you can still see the center line. And I've tried to make sure I leave a couple thousandths. I'll measure it just to make sure. But I think this little makeshift jig for just making mine and Jared's knives will be fine. So I'll look this over again real close. This right here, I don't know, I got off just a little bit, don't know. Might be able to get that out of there. But this side here looks really good and straight. So I'll be back in a little bit. Okay. I put my initials on my knife. Got the edge ground. Still dull. I mean, there's a few thousandths flat right there, so I can do the heat treating. I was just doing a little bit of sanding on it with 80 grit sandpaper just to get the roughness off where I've drilled these holes for the pins. I still got to drill the hole for the lanyard. I think I'm going to end up using a
30-06, no, not 30-06, a 223 casing for the lanyard hole. But it's ready for heat treatment and then to be tempered. Got a 90-degree spine on it. And then the next thing, I'll start on Jerod's and get the pieces cut off and get it ground down and get the bevel on it. Now I haven't done it yet, but right here I'll take a round file and cut into this, but I think I'm going to wait until after it's heat treated to do that. I don't want any chances of when I'm heat treating it that it could crack. So I'm going to do a little studying up and seeing how these guys do it. Do they put that in there? It helps in aiding and sharpening. But I'm going to see if they put it in there before they heat treat or if they wait until after they've tempered it. So I'm really pleased. Like I said, this will be the handles that go on, or scales, whatever you want to call it. And that's Purple Heart. I've already kind of traced out where the holes need, but I still have to drill the holes in that. But I'm going to wait until I get all the heat treating done and then work on that. But that's the knife so far. Okay, I'm making place here for my thumb to rest. Taking a small round file. Of course, I don't think I showed the video. I stamped my initials on the blade, but here's the, so whenever I grip the knife, my thumb has this here for don't slide. And then I'd already started this, and before I got the video going, took the round file, went about like a half moon down here. That way when I go to sharpen it, I'm not hitting up against this, the finger guard. So I get a sharp edge all the way down to the point. Still got it, to heat treat, but I'm doing all these little tweaks to it before I get ready to do the heat treating. But it's coming right along. Next is to drill the holes for the scales. Okay, got the holes drilled in. Got the first one done before I started recording, and used the pin to make sure it's in place. You can see the pin comes all the way through right there. Okay, and then I just drilled this one, as you can see. So now we just take the knife off, and then the scales come apart. There's that one, and I've already traced inside. And I gotta get that pin out. So got my scales ready, but really can't do nothing because I'm done with this knife. I'm ready for heat treating, and I don't know if I can do it this weekend or not. Temperatures outside's not going to be very warm at all. It's like right now it's 38 degrees, and I want it to be a little bit warmer than that during the day. So when I heat treat this and get it to where it's non-magnetic, and then drop it into the vegetable oil to quench it. And then the heat treating I'm not too concerned about. That's going to be in the toaster oven, 400 degrees. But it's coming along. I still got to drill the hole, and I'll have to put the scales back together and everything. I still got to drill a hole for the lanyard. And I believe I'm going to use 223 brass casing. Cut the rim off and cut the shoulder off and use that. Well, I'm just going to see how it's going to look. So I'll be back with some more.